sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I always love you and make you happy. If you will only stay the same. But if you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all one day. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, Tootly-yada, tootly-yada, toot-toot, he blows an egg to the bar. Oh, he can't go another unless the bass and guitar's playing with him. And he makes the company jump, the hippie family. He's a boogie-boogie-boogie boy of company B.
And a jolly warm welcome back to the show. This is a BBC Outside broadcast production transmitted live to your wireless sets and coming from the quaint Suffolk village of Henley for the Henley Radio Show. Now, you've just been listening to the local quartet, the Bluebird Bells, and what great fun they were. Well, we'll be hearing more from their wonderful dulcet tones during this evening's transmission. My name is Charlie Winston, Cheeky Charlie to some, and I'm your host for this evening's broadcast. Now, keep your radio dials tuned in to Henley Radio, as we have a special treat for you, amateur sleuths out there. Oh, now, I've been asked by the village to mention that if you have any little darlings who want to, who'd like to keep entertained during the summer as a change to helping Mummy in the kitchen with the cooking, or bothering Daddy to make a go-kart with the old perambulator sitting in the garage with the good old motor car, then bring them along to the Henley Players summer show. This year, the show is Peter Pan at the Community Centre on Saturday, the 23rd of June. Tickets are on sale now. And now, back to Drama Hour here on Henley Radio. Now don't forget, listen carefully folks, as there will be a chance for you to put your detective skills to the test. So without further hesitation, let me introduce to you Henley's murder mystery for Drama Hour entitled Murder at Grey Manor.
The year is 1946, and the world is at peace again. Earl and Lady Grey have returned to their home in the Suffolk countryside. They have invited some dear friends over for an evening of entertainment, namely a game of murder mystery. However, as the weekend ensues and the games begin, the group make a gruesome discovery. Can you guess who the murderer is, where it happened, what weapon was used, and the motive before the murderer strikes again?
Miss Ruby, always a pleasure. You seem more ravishing every time I see you.
Not too ravishing, I heard, Teddy. Hello, Regina.
Hello, you two. Now, there's enough of you to go round. Lavinia, you look positively youthful. You must share your secret with me. And don't you go saying it's all this country air, or I should have to murder you where you stand. Talking of air, I think it's all but gone. I messed up my hairdo. I must look a fright.
Nonsense. You're looking stunning, as you already well know. Why don't you have Benson take you to your room so you can freshen up? We're having cocktails in the drawing room at 6. Benson, show Miss Ruby to her room, will you?
Very good, miss.
Go, I will, but not before I find out who that is. Through the window there, that gentleman helping that little old lady out of the car. Oh, those chisel cheekbones are making my little heart go pitter-patter.
That, my dear, is Professor Peach. Excellent fellow, graduated first in his class at Oxford.
Peachy by name and peachy by nature. I ain't interested in his credentials, Lord G. I just want to rest my gaze on that peachy little posterior of his. You know, my mama always says you can tell the size of a man.
Benson! Escort Miss Ruby to her room, will you? Now. And take her luggage with you.
I'm a-going. No, honey, you go right ahead. I always do like to watch a man exert himself.
I have totally forgotten how incorrigible she can be.
I don't know, I've always found her delightfully refreshing.
Yes, well, as long as you don't find her too delightful, we'll all get along nicely now, won't we?
Not this again, Lavinia. Why must you bring this up every time we have guests?
I don't know, Teddy. Maybe because you always use this sort of occasion to have something else come up. See to the rest of the guests, will you? I need to talk to Mrs. Black about supper.
Evening shadows make me blue when each weary day is through.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Professor. You are too kind. You really are a gentleman in every sense of the word.
Only a compliment from a lady such as yourself, Mrs. Parrott, would mean so much. As I said, I am at your service.
I am at your service.
I beg your pardon?
I beg your pardon?
You said you were at my service.
You said you were at my service.
Well, I did. I mean, I am.
Young man, are you trying to confuse me?
No, not at all. I am at your service. Mrs. Parrott, shall I escort you into the house?
Oh, thank you. You really are too kind. You are a true gentleman in every sense of the word.
Ah, here's the Earl. Teddy! Teddy, hello! How jolly well good to see you again.
Ah, Professor! Mrs. Parrott, welcome. I hope you aren't too tired from your journey. How are you, Mrs. Parrott? I see Charles here is taking good care of you.
Yes, he always was a fine boy. Now, where is that wife of yours, Earl Grey? I intend to even a score with her this weekend over a game of bridge.
Ah, that'll be music to her ears. There's nothing my wife likes more than an evening of games and frivolity. Now, where's Benson got to? Ah, there you are. Escort Mrs. Parrott to her room, will you?
Very good, sir.
We've put you in your favourite room, Geraldine, the one with the south-facing window overlooking the gardens.
Oh, you are always so kind to me, Teddy. Now, where is that wife of yours? I intend to even the score with her this weekend over a game of bridge.
All in good time, Geraldine. All in good time. Benson?
Very good, sir. This way, miss.
This way, miss.
Yes, miss. This way.
Yes, miss. This way.
Yes, miss. To your room.
To your room? To your room? To your room? How impertinent! I'm old enough to be your grandmother. Well, really, take me to your room indeed.
No, miss. If you follow me, I'll show you to your room.
Well, why didn't you just say so? Come along. I haven't got all day.
I have to say, Ted, it's bloody good to see you.
Likewise, old chap. How's the new job going? Bored of the sound of your own voice yet?
Oh, perils of the job, I'm afraid. All these years listening to some old bore pondering the difference between Hardy and Lord Byron, and here I am, 10 years on, still trying to work it out.
But with age comes wisdom. Or I suppose in your case, a lecture that doesn't send your students to sleep.
I think that would be too much to hope for, Teddy. I was hoping we could find time to talk this weekend. I really would like to, well, discuss our, this other business.
But here's not really the time nor the place, Charles.
But maybe we could go down to the village pub or go for a swim. It really can't wait any longer, Teddy. I must talk to you.
Okay, my dear fellow, settle down. We will talk, but not now. For now, the other gentlemen await. The Colonel and the Reverend are in the study, and if I'm not wrong, the Reverend has brought me along a rather good drop of malt. Did I mention that he's in trouble with the parish council again? Only this time, it's serious.
Oh, gossip and booze. You always did know how to smooth my feathers. Lead on, good fellow, lead on.
And that's what's wrong with military strategists of today. No gumption, eh? Not like when I was a young whippersnapper. What?
With all due respect, Colonel, I think that in light of recent events, it might be prudent to keep such candidness to yourself.
Nonsense, Reverend, nonsense. What was this country built on if not actions and therefore the opinions of military men like myself, eh? Churchill had it right from the start. Well, what have you got to say about that then, boy? No doubt you think a line from one of your sermons will save you, eh? In God we trust. What?
Ah, Teddy, Professor, just in time. You have saved me from yet another fruitless dispute with the Colonel here.
What are you talking about over there? Speak up, the pair of you.
The Reverend was just complimenting your debating skills, Colonel.
Well, I'd say that's praise indeed from the valleys.
Ah, Professor, good to see you, good to see you. How the devil are you?
Ah, there'll be no talk of the devil around here, Colonel. And yes, us Welshmen do not give our praise lightly. We're so glad you decided to come, Professor. Rumour had it that you were staying in London, looking after the, needs of a certain young lady.
Ah, no such luck, I'm afraid. They all see through me in an instant and run screaming for the hills.
And what is it that they see?
A serial monogamist with no plans to marry. On a more serious note, I certainly am glad to see the country back on its feet again.
Yes. It's a damn good time to be British. What?
I couldn't agree with you more, Colonel. Right, I propose a toast. Reverend, now might be the time to uncork that bottle of whiskey we've all been coveting.
Right, oh Teddy. If you wish to share it, nothing would give me more pleasure. Well, maybe a day in the life of the Professor here. Tell me, Charles, where exactly are these hills where I can find wanton females running around broken-hearted?
You'll have to come to Reverend London and I'll introduce you to some.
Hills? There are no hills in London. What are you talking about?
I think the Reverend is trying to make a matchmaker out of Charles, Colonel.
Ah, good. Nothing wrong with a good bit of healthy vigour. Well, where's me whiskey, eh, boy? A man could die of thirst at this rate, eh? What?
Point taken. Ah, I think your housekeeper may have taken it off me when I arrived, Teddy.
No bother, I'll ring for it.
Planning to drink without me, gentlemen?
Darling, not at all. We are eagerly awaiting cocktail hour, aren't we, gents?
Oh, what? Oh, yes.
Oh, I hope Lucky has sorted out the problem with supper.
On the contrary, darling. Mrs. Black is proving as difficult as ever. Could you go and talk to her? You always seem to know what to say to calm her. Honestly, I don't know why you insist on keeping her on.
Blackie came with the manor, Lavinia. You know that.
Yes, darling, but that was 25 years ago. I'm sure the previous owners won't hold you to it. Honestly, anyone would think she's the lady of the manor the way she carries on.
Enough. I shall go and talk to her. Duty calls, gentlemen. Do look after my wife in my absence. She has gone to rather a lot of trouble to plan your entertainment this weekend. A murder mystery, no less. I hope you've all packed your pistols and poisons.
The only poison I plan to pour down your throats this evening, gentlemen, are the cocktails awaiting you in the drawing room. Miss Ruby and Mrs. Parrott should be down by now. Do come through.
Well, at long last, I'll turn into a bad drunk if I'm forced to drink alone.
Well, hello. And who might this fine beaut be?
This, Reverend, is Miss Regina Ruby. She visits us all the way from West Virginia. Regina, our local Reverend, Reverend Grope.
Charmed, I'm sure. I knew a man of the cloth once, a preacher, never did like his eyes. They would follow me around the room, watching me. Are you a watching too, Reverend?
Regina.
No, Lavinia. It's quite all right. I do, Miss Ruby, keep a watchful eye on my flock, that is. But I do prefer to take a more hands-on approach where I can.
Ah! Back your way, boy. Just ask the ladies in the village. Although I'm not sure some of them appreciate the advances.
Yes. Well, I really don't think this is an appropriate subject for cocktail hour. Now, where has Mrs. Parrott gone to? Oh, there you are, Geraldine.
Lavinia, dear, your gardens are looking more beautiful than ever. That garden of yours must have the greenest of fingers.
How good of you to notice. Actually, we don't have a resident gardener. Benson and I take care of it mostly. Unless it's a big job, of course. Then Mrs. Black employs a man from the village. Teddy finds it most untoward that I spend so much time outdoors. He's so preoccupied these days, I'm surprised he notices anything. I could install a racetrack in between the rose bushes and he wouldn't notice.
It's a man's job to be preoccupied with matters of state, my dear. The Colonel here will tell you. And besides, if he wasn't so busy, he'd be here all day, underfoot.
I am here, Mrs. Parrott. Never let it be said that I wasn't willing to be underfoot.
Underfoot?
Yes, Mrs. Parrott, underfoot.
I am not underfoot. I was invited. How rude.
I didn't say you were underfoot, Mrs. Parrott.
Yes, you did. You said Mrs. Parrott underfoot.
No, I meant I was underfoot.
When were you underfoot?
Now it would seem.
Oh, Gray, are you trying to tell me I have something under my foot? I'll have you know, I've only just put these shoes on, so if something unsavoury has been brought into the house on the bottom of a foot, I can assure you it certainly wasn't mine.
Lavinia?
No one has brought anything in, Geraldine. Now, why don't you come and sit down and let Teddy fix you a drink? There, see? Your shoes are all clean. Nothing underfoot at all.
No, nothing on mine either. What?
Nor mine, Mrs. Parrott.
I suppose you'll be wanting me to join in this charade too. Mine are all clean too, Mrs. Parrott.
Maybe it was the gardener from the village. I saw him from the window, you know. He just walked straight into the house, didn't even stop to wipe his feet. The cheek of it. You know, I was propositioned by one of your manservants earlier too. You really ought to get better help, Lavinia.
Lavinia, honey, I'll have whatever she's drinking, and and make it a double.
Gardener? At this time of night? What is she talking about, Lavinia?
Probably just her imagination, Teddy. A trick of the light or something. Well, I better go and check anyhow. I'll gee Mrs. Black along on my way, or we'll be eating supper at midnight. Oh, you found the whiskey after all. Lovely. Right. Here, take this, and give it a little shake before serving. Oh, and do explain the rules of the game to them, darling. I shan't be long.
Yes, okay, darling. Right, here you are. Cocktails are served.
This is delicious. It tastes sort of fruity. Yes, that's it. It has a peachy flavour to it. This has got peach juice in it.
Bravo. Well tasted, Mrs. Parrott.
I don't know of anyone else around here, but I've been dying to have the taste of something peachy in my mouth ever since I first arrived.
Every little duck and quack, every little worm can walk, every little mole frolic in the mud, and make a little hole and have a little fun, any little thing can nip in any little local.
So, written on that card is the name of the murderer, and all we gotta do is ask each other questions?
Yes, but you have to answer them according to your character, which will be described on the card you are dealt.
So, who decides who the murderer is?
No one. That card is dealt out too. What luck, I'm afraid.
You mean I could be the murderer?
Why, yes. You seem rather pleased with that thought, Virginia.
Well, I've always thought that if I was to ever commit murder, I would do it with real class. You know, pull a turtle shell pistol from my suspender belt with one hand while smoking a cigarette with the other.
Now that would be a sight worth taking a bullet for.
But what about the murder weapon and the motive, eh, boy? You can't solve a murder without them. What?
No, indeed, Colonel, you cannot. 4 questions must be answered correctly to win the game. Namely, 1. Who is the murderer? 2. In what room did the murder occur? 3. What weapon was used? And 4. What was the motive? Are we all clear?
Absolutely clear, old boy.
Yeah.
Now, I think while we wait for Lavinia, we'll sample that whiskey you bought, Reverend. Colonel Charles, will you join us?
I'm afraid Miss Ruby has been quite attentive in keeping my glass full, Teddy. So I shall pass, and, well, as for the Colonel, I think he might be sitting this round out.
Into the breach, dear boy.
Just you and I then, Reverend. Bottoms up, old chap.
Hold that thought, Teddy. I must visit the little boy's room. Back in a moment.
Well, Virginia isn't west, my dear. She's up north with her husband and children.
No, Mrs. Parrott, that's where I'm from. West Virginia?
I'm from West Virginia.
You are? Are you sure, Sugar? You don't sound like you're from West Virginia.
And you're from West Virginia.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
I am.
I don't doubt it for a second, Mrs. P.
Oh, you are a lovely girl, Regina. You know, we should make sure that you sit next to the professor at dinner. Then you two can get married, and then you won't be a Virginia anymore.
I think you just became my new favourite person, Mrs. P.
I say, you okay, Teddy?
No, just a bit of a hot flush, I think. I think I'll follow the Reverend's lead and pop to the restroom. Splash a little water on my face and hold the fort for me, will you, Charles?
Yes. How are we getting on over here, ladies? Are you enjoying your first murder mystery?
We've barely started for me to have anything to tell. Why don't we go for a walk in the gardens afterwards, and I can tell you my thoughts on the matter.
She's a lovely girl, this one, you know, Professor.
Yes, Mrs. Parrott, she certainly is.
And she's a Virginia.
Well, yes, well, quite.
Oh, I think the professor knows that even though I'm from Virginia, I'm still, how should we say, well-traveled.
What the devil?
Oh my lord! What was that sound?
It sounded like a scream coming from the hallway. Stay with Miss Parrott, Miss Ruby. I shall go and investigate.
Not on your nelly, Professor. You ain't leaving me alone after that god-awful noise. Colonel, you stay with Mrs. Parrott and I'll just hold on to the Professor's arm here, you know, for protection.
Reverend, what on earth is going on out there? It sounds like someone's being murdered.
I don't know, Charles. I just came from the restroom. It sounded like it came from the kitchen. Maybe Mrs. Black has burned the dinner.
I don't think this is a joking matter, Reverend. I think someone is seriously hurt.
Damned awful business if it is. Onward then, Professor. Let us face whatever it is head on.
It's definitely coming from the kitchen. That way.
Teddy? Lavinia? What's going on? Are you okay? Mrs. Black?
Oh, the Earl and the lady. They're
What is it, woman? Come on, spit it out. What about the Earl?
There now, Mrs. Black. Calm down. It's okay. What happened?
on the floor. In there.
Let me through. What's on the floor? Teddy? Teddy! No, it can't be. Teddy, wake up. Answer me.
Dear Lord!
Out of the way, I tell you. I've seen many a battle wound. Nothing I can't set straight. Oh.
Good Lord! I'm sorry, Colonel, but I think it might be too late. Come now, Mrs. Parrott. Don't look. Come away. There. I know it's frightening.
Teddy! Teddy, wake up, old chap. Somebody help him. No, he can't be dead.
Take him away, Regina, and get him a stiff one.
A stiff what?
A drink.
Oh, where I come from, we call that 2 fingers.
I think he's gone into shock. Take Mrs. Parrott too. Go straight to the study and lock the door behind you.
Come away now, Professor. Come away. Mrs. Parrott, you come too.
Quickly, Reverend. Help me move him aside so we can check Lavinia. Lavinia? Can you hear me? Lavinia?
Don't slap her there, Colonel.
Well, where shall I slap her then? That's where we slap him in the army.
Try her face. It's no good. It's too late. They are both gone from this world. The good Lord has them now. God rest their souls.
Oh, stop blabbering on, man, and get onto the phone. Look, there's bloody prints on the back door. We must call the police. There's murder afoot here.
There's a phone in the study.
Come along then, boy. The murderer could still be in the manor, with no time to lose.
Regina, it's us. Let us in.
What's happening? Shouldn't we be calling the police?
That's precisely what I'm about to do, Miss Ruby.
No, we must stay put until they arrive and keep the door locked. Safety in numbers, eh? What? Professor, any idea where the Earl kept his shotgun?
He's still in shock. Mrs. Black, I know it must have been quite a shock to find him on the floor like that, but you must tell us where the guns are kept.
In the cupboard there. The Earl kept the only key.
What cupboard? Which one? This one?
It's unlocked and empty. Why is it empty? What does that mean?
It means that the murderer knew exactly where the guns were kept and how to get the key to get them.
What are you saying, Colonel? You're scaring me.
The telephone line is dead. It's been cut. Look.
Oh dear. I don't think I like this game after all. Can we stop playing now, Regina?
There now. It's okay. It's okay.
It most certainly is not okay. If the line was cut from the inside and the gun cupboard opened with a key and not forced, it can only mean one thing.
What?
It was an inside job. The murderer knew the way around the house and could still be here now. Either that or something much, much worse.
Worse? What could be worse than a murderer prowling around out there?
That the murderer isn't prowling around out there, my dear. That the murderer, in fact, could be one of the people sitting here in this very room. Well, listeners, how did you like that? Have you got a clue as to who may have perpetrated the dastardly deed? We will be stopping shortly for a small break, and here to play us out are the lovely Bluebird Bells with Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree.
Don't sit under the apple tree with anybody else but me. Anybody else but me. Anybody else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anybody else but me. Till I come home to you. Don't go walk down Lover's Lane with anybody else but me. Not me. Anybody else but me. Not her. Anybody else but me. No, no, no. Don't go walk down Lover's Lane with anybody else but me. Till I come marching home. Hope you're all doing swell this evening.
And welcome back. This is your host, Cheeky Charlie Winston, and you are tuned in to Henley Radio. Now, I hope you all have your notebooks and pencils because it's straight back to our drama hour and the murder mystery, Murder at Grey Manor.
Murdered Paul, Lavinia and Teddy in cold blood? How could you say that? They were our friends.
Back me up here, Reverend. You're a man with intelligent thinking.
I am also a man of God, and he guides me to see the best in people. As should you, and I don't think it'd be very seemly to go around accusing the ladies here.
Defend yourself, Colonel. I can fight my own corner. I think you're barking up the wrong tree here, Colonel.
Barking? A tree? What the devil is she going on about?
I think what she's trying to say is that maybe your theory is incorrect. Think about it logically. Who else had access to the house? What about the manservant, Benson? Where is he, Mrs. Black? Does he have a room here?
No, he lives in the village. He maintains the car and drives it here and back every day. He leaves probably at 6 every evening to be with his family.
Well, that doesn't prove he didn't do it. He could have stuck around and waited until he had them on his own.
But like in the Vineyard's murder mystery game, where is the motive? Why would a 20-something-year-old servant want to murder his employers? It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, what about the gardener then? When Mrs. Parrott saw out of the window, the one Lavinia was going to see.
I do declare, you're being very quick to point the finger, Colonel. Maybe you could enlighten us as to your whereabouts this entire evening.
How dare you speak to me like that? I was defending this country when you were still learning to walk, and your countrymen were deciding which side to be on.
I think you'll find, Regina, that the Colonel was in fact asleep at the time of the murders, and snoring rather well, if memory serves.
Professor, jolly good to have you back. You went a bit pale there for a while. Nothing to be ashamed of, eh, boy? Done it myself years ago when faced with my first dead body.
Dead body? Dead body? Has somebody died?
Oh, no, Mrs. Parrott. We were just talking about the game. Remember? The murder mystery.
The murder mystery?
Yes, my dear, the murder mystery.
The murder mystery? The murder mystery? Why would murder be a mystery? What is going on here? Why are you all staring at me like that? Why are you keeping me in this room? You're going to kill me, aren't you? Help! Help!
Don't stick a cracker in that beak, will you? No one's trying to murder you, woman.
Under the circumstances, you can at least try to demonstrate a little compassion.
I'll show compassion to those who can provide an alibi for their whereabouts this evening.
We were all in the drawing room having cocktails when Lavinia and Teddy left. It couldn't have been one of us.
Well, actually, that's not quite true, is it? There was one person who did leave the room. Wasn't there, Reverend?
To go to the toilet, which is where I was coming from when I came across you all in the hallway.
How do we know that you didn't do the dastardly deed and double directly back?
Your hands were wet. I remember because you touched my arm. Maybe you got blood on them and had to rush to the bathroom to wash it off.
Or I did no such thing and simply washed my hands after going to the toilet. Why are all eyes on me all of a sudden? Mrs. Black discovered the bodies. Has anyone asked her exactly what she was doing right before she found them?
I was returning from the dining room. At great inconvenience, Lady Grey had requested a hot buffet for supper, and I was setting up the hot plates. I pushed the door open, but, well, it wasn't until I turned around that I saw.
Oh, bless your heart, Mrs. Black. Nothing good will come from you keep going over and over that moment in your head. It's just important that you try to remember any other details that might help. I mean, did you hear anything, or was anything out of place?
No, miss. Although, the door that led to the hallway was open. We're instructed to always keep that door closed.
Well, that would explain how we heard her screams then.
And indicates to me that it wasn't a servant that went through it last, as they would have known to have closed the damn thing behind them.
Must you keep cursing, Colonel?
I will do exactly as I please, young lady, especially if it leads me to find the killer of my dear friends. Well, what about you, eh? Where were you when all this business was playing out?
I was talking to Mrs. Parrott in the drawing room, listening to you snore, you overstuffed buffoon. How dare you imply that you are Teddy and Lavinia's only friend here? We all want to find out their murderer is, not just you. What, you think just because you've known them the longest, that you get the only say?
If I may, miss, I don't think he's known the Earl the longest. I believe that Mrs. Parrott was visiting the manor. long before Colonel Salt was.
Is that true, Mrs. Parrott? Have you known them longer than the Colonel?
Who, dear?
Teddy and Lavinia.
Teddy and Lavinia?
Yeah, Teddy and Lavinia.
Oh, splendid. Are they joining us? Are we having supper soon? I'm famished. You know, this place is really going to pot. Hosts running off and everyone had to do. Not like it was in its heyday.
Oh, I would love to have seen it. What was it like?
What was what like?
The manor, in its heyday.
Heyday? No, dear. Heydays are for the summer. For young people, long summer days. Oh, I miss being a young girl, with all the outings and the picnics. I let Thomas Letterman see me in my swimming costume once. Oh, it caused quite a stir, I can tell you.
Oh, it's no good. You won't get anything out of her. She's as nutty as a fruitcake.
Or is she?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, she does act batty, yes, and gives the impression that she doesn't know what's going on. But what if it's all an act? She was laid down for cocktails whilst blabbing on about some fictitious gardener. What if she's trying to throw us all off the scent?
I said, I beg your pardon. That wasn't me asking you to repeat yourself. That was my polite way of saying, how dare you accuse such an innocent old lady of such deception? I'm a great admirer of yours, Professor Peach, but you are going too far.
Well, what about the Professor, eh? No one has asked what he's been up to this evening.
But being a good guest, by all accounts, Miss Ruby, please to explain that you have not left my side for the entire evening, and I have not in fact left the room or done anything on my own since I first arrived.
That I have, but no he hasn't.
Well, someone's got to have done it. Someone here has a secret which they have killed to keep covered up. And I don't know about anyone else, but I think it's high time we found out what it is.
The price of vegetables is quite appalling. Just look there, but it goes up every day.
Well, you can rattle my cupboard all you like, my boy. You'll find no skeletons in my closets.
What a surprise. The Colonel here thinks it's too good to have any nasty little secrets. Why don't you just confess, so we can get this over with?
Now, Regina, people in glass houses should throw stones. And with all what Teddy has told me about you, I'm sure you wouldn't fare much better.
And what would that be, I wonder? Nothing you wouldn't take if offered, I'm sure.
Well, that's precisely the problem, Regina. If a lady goes around offering herself, she gains herself, well, a certain reputation.
And why shouldn't I seek companionship? God knows I've got nothing else to offer a man.
Regina? Here, take my handkerchief. Come now. Whatever can it be that has you so upset?
It takes a woman to know this one, sir. She can't bear a child, I say.
No, I can't. What man is going to want me for anything other than companionship? I know my place in this world, but Daddy wouldn't have it. He said I owed it to Mama, God rest her soul. He sent me here. He said Teddy would take me to Harley Street. But now Teddy's dead, and I won't ever get another chance. And I feel just awful thinking about myself. When poor Teddy and Lavinia are next door, there, on the floor like that.
Come now. No one's thinking that. I'm sure with my connections I can get you an appointment. I'll make a call first thing on Monday. There now. Better?
Oh, Charles, I don't know how to ever thank you.
No, none of that. I'll be looking to make an overseas investment in the near future, and I'll be looking to your father for some sound advice. How does that sound?
Jolly good if you ask me. Well done. No one likes to see the ladies upset. Oh, you're a good man, Charles.
That was our host. A good man, through and through.
Through and through.
Yes, through and through.
That was Teddy.
What do you mean, Geraldine?
That was Teddy. Good. Through and through. Even from a small child, his mother told me he was a good boy and he liked to help people. Animals too. If they were sick, he would nurse them until they were well again. But he would get bored of things so quickly, though, and move on to the next thing. Poor Lavinia. No wonder she spent so much time in the garden.
Yes, it was no secret he had a wandering eye. You don't suppose one of his mistresses broke in and bumped him off, do you? They would have had to have gone a long way to come, I would have thought. I thought he kept his mistresses in Cambridge.
Christian?
I beg your pardon?
Christian? That was his name.
Whose name?
Of Lavinia's lover.
Of Lavinia's lover?
Oh, do stop repeating everything I say. You're not a parrot.
I'm just in shock. I didn't realise their marriage was, well, so separate.
Would never happen in my day. We knew how to keep a marriage together.
Really? Is that why Mrs. Salter's been in Bath on her own for the last 6 months?
She's taking in the minerals. It's good for her health.
Or she's fed up with your gambling and needed to get away. Everyone knows that you like to spend far too long at the gaming tables.
I don't have to explain myself. Mrs. Salt is in full support of my hobby. It is medically advised for a retired gentleman like myself to have a hobby.
Is it also medically advised to borrow £1,000 from your good friend, the Earl, to cover the debts incurred from said hobby?
And I thought I had problems.
This has got nothing to do with you, with any of you. Teddy should never have divulged that sort of information to you. And besides, what do any of you know about life? You're all still wet behind the ears. It was a business loan, plain and simple. And it's got bugger all to do with anyone else.
Well, it wouldn't, except that he's now turned up dead. Tell me, how were you planning on repaying the money you borrowed?
I will not be subjected to this sort of inquiry, especially by someone who could have given Teddy poisoned whiskey. Thought no one remembered your little gift, eh, boy?
Don't try to change the subject.
From what? Your poisonous plans? Pulled it off rather well, didn't you? What?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. The only one that has pulled anything off here is you, marrying the couple you owe £1,000 to.
Preposterous! How dare you accuse me? I am a man of my word, sir. I had every intention of paying Teddy back that money. It was a deal between two gentlemen. Not that it is expected for you to understand, you ignorant taff.
Ignorant taff? At least I'm not a washed-up old gambler and it gets up to my eyeballs.
Eyeballs? Eyeballs? What the devil are you going on about, man?
Eyeballs, Colonel. You have two of them stuck in that bigoted head of yours.
I've just about had enough of this. How dare you talk to me like this? How dare you drag mine and Teddy's name through the mud?
I think we're managing to drag our own names through the mud. So far, we have ourselves a mistress, a gambler, a cheat, and a gossip.
Yes, well, Teddy was none of those things. I don't care what any of you say, he was the best of men. He couldn't have cheated on Lavinia with some loosey. He had far too much respect for her than that. My Teddy would never have...
Wait, what? My Teddy? There's something you ain't telling us, honey?
I didn't say that. You must be mistaken.
You sure did. I heard it right as rain, just like everyone else in this room. You called him my Teddy. Looks like we ain't the only ones keeping secrets round here.
That's a private matter between Teddy and I.
Teddy and I don't think so. We've all had to air our dirty laundry out to dry, honey. So if you're keeping a secret, we need to know about it. How do we know that your secret is the reason why you went and killed him, poor Lavinia?
Kill him? I couldn't have hurt a hair on his head.
What the devil do you mean, Peach?
That I loved him, okay? He loved me.
Oh, don't talk such nonsense, man.
I have loved him for as long as I can remember. I was bullied dreadfully as a child. One day the boys at school held my head down the toilet for so long, I nearly drowned. He was the one who saved me. He pumped me with great vigour until I spat out all that filthy liquid. I have never seen someone so confident or courageous.
But what about all your ladies in London?
All lies, I'm afraid. I'm unlikely to get married, unless it's for convenience.
Welcome to the real world, sugar. All marriages are those of convenience.
And so were Teddy's and Lavinia's by the sounds of it. I hate to break it to you, Charles, but he did have affairs. I know you think highly of him, but it's time to take those rose-tinted glasses off and see him for what and who he really was.
A good friend, a patron, the sort of fellow to help out those in need. Oh, I know exactly what sort of person he was, Reverend. The question here is, we know what sort of person you are.
I am a man of God.
Well, that may be, but you still have secrets here, just like everybody else. I know you're in trouble with the parish council for acting inappropriately towards ladies in the choir.
Those are nasty rumours that shouldn't be listened to. All I offer is a sympathetic ear and a shoulder to cry on for all of those in my congregation in need, be they male or female. It's not my fault that if some of the ladies have taken that to mean something else.
Teddy said they were putting it to a vote at the next meeting. He said he had it on good authority they wanted rid of you, and this would be the deciding vote. Maybe you laced his whiskey so that wouldn't happen, and as he turned to you for help, you denied it. And when Lavinia came to aid him, you killed her too.
I am not going to answer that with an answer. I swore an oath to God to always look after his flock, and that does not include killing two of them.
Well, somebody's guilty of it, and it sure shit ain't me.
Well, it's not me.
Nor me.
Well, it certainly wasn't me.
Oh, lovely. Are we having tea?
Well, this ain't getting us very far.
Wait,
Why?
we haven't discovered Mrs. Black's or Mrs. Parrott's secrets yet.
Sugar, I don't think Mrs. P has got any secrets. Well, unless you count Thomas Letterman, but she already spilled the beans on that one.
Well, Mrs. Black, then.
I have many a secret, young sir, none of which would interest you. I work hard, and I keep myself to myself. I had hoped of serving the next generation of Greys here, but that's looking unlikely now.
I'm sure you'll find work somewhere else. A good, fine housekeeper like yourself. Do you have a family?
I do. I have a son. His name's Christian.
Oh, how lovely. He's a Christian.
No, Mrs. P. It's her son. Her son is called Christian.
You know that you've done right when you've raised a good Christian boy.
Yes, Mrs. Parrott. Look, it's become painfully obvious here that everyone has a secret. It doesn't matter how confused she gets, I still think we need to try and find out if she has one.
I agree. What are you saying, Mrs. Parrott? What are you hiding?
Hush your mouth, Colonel. You can't just blurt it out like that.
I can, and I will. Out with it, woman. We haven't got all day.
All day.
No, we haven't got all day. Don't start with all that repeating nonsense. Oh, we all know bloody well you can keep up with the conversation.
Stop it. You're fostering her.
Oh, she's doing it on purpose to annoy me. Oh, somebody else try and get some sense out of her, will you? I give up.
Mrs. P, do you have anything you want to tell us, honey?
Honey,
Yes, honey. Do you have anything you know you want to share with us?
Mr. Parrot, he liked honey.
He did? I'm sure he did.
He kept bees, you know, before the war. They made the most delicious honey. People would even come from the next village to buy it. He was the top of the village.
Honey? Bees? What's that got to do with anything? Oh, you'll never get any sense out of her. Oh, she might as well have her head full of shrapnel for all the sense she makes.
After he went, the soldiers came and took them, hives and all, needed for rations, they said. When he came back, he looked to his bees for some solitude, but he never found it. He never found it. They were gone, all gone, like him. He was gone.
Oh, honey, you must have missed him terribly when he was gone.
No, my dear. He was gone, and he was still here. Help me, Geraldine, he said. Help me. So I did. I did it.
Did what?
Murder. I did it.
I knew it! I knew it was an act. Ha! I haven't lost my nose for an inquiry after all. Hey!
No, I don't think she means Teddy and Lavinia, Colonel. Carry on, Mrs. P, with your story.
My Norman. My love. He couldn't stand it. He couldn't stop the screams or wipe the faces of those poor dead boys in the trenches from his mind. Help me, Geraldine, he said. So I did. I put poison in his tea, and he sat in his chair, and I helped him drink it. Help, Geraldine, he said. So I did. I did. I did. I did.
Oh, Geraldine.
Nasty business. Happens to a lot of good men.
And what did you do with the rest of the poison?
Mrs. Black!
Well, how do we know she didn't slip the rest to Teddy and Lavinia? I have a right to ask. I've lost a place of lifetime employment. Plus, she's already confessed to one murder, and we all know she likes to repeat herself.
She does have a point, Regina. And Mrs. Parrot was quite put out that Lavinia had beaten her at bridge again.
This is all too much. Mrs. Parrot wouldn't do that. We should be working together to find the murderer, not accusing each other like this. We need the police, or a detective, or something.
I agree, Regina. But with the phone line cut and the car in the village, how are we going to find anyone to help?
Evening shadows make me blue. When each weary day is
The plot thickens. Do any of you listeners out there have any ideas as to who you think the murderer might be? If you do, then enter our competition, because here at Henley Radio, we are giving away a luxury food hamper. If you can solve the 4 clues, who the murderer is, what the motive is, what room it happened in, and what weapon was used, then you could be our lucky winner. And as you make your guesses, I shall leave you with another song from the wonderful Bluebird Bells with the White Cliffs of Dover. welcome back to the show. This is your cheeky Charlie Winston, and you are listening to Henley Radio. So thank you for all of those who entered the competition. The studio has been inundated with entries. So let's get back to Grey Manor to see if any of you have won this beautiful hamper, which you can't see because this is glorious Technicolor radio.
There's no help coming. We're on our own. I suggest we get our thinking caps on and try and outwit this murderous scoundrel.
What do you have in mind, Peach?
I know. How about a body search?
We already know where the bodies are, Regina.
I know that, silly. I don't mean that sort of search. I mean a pat down. You know, a body search.
I think she means a frisk.
That's it. A frisk. I think we should all frisk each other.
And why would we want to do that, then?
Well, we might find something on someone. Poisoned or a concealed weapon. How do I know what y'all hiding?
Well, the idea certainly has merit.
Thank you. Professor, you can do me.
Regina, Charles is in love with Teddy. He's got no more interest in patting you down than travelling to the moon.
I know that. I just thought we had to start somewhere, that's all. And just for the record, I give my full consent to being frisked, as I have nothing whatsoever to hide.
I have nothing whatsoever to hide.
We know that, honey. You just sit tight. Ain't no one touching you if you don't want them to.
Ah, that's where I do disagree with you, Regina. It's all of us or none of us. There's no reason for her to get a free pass.
I said, if she don't want to be touched, then she don't have to be.
And I said she doesn't get a choice. What she wants is of no consequence. She'll be searched along with the rest of us.
Over my dead body.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Calm down, the pair of you. We are all tired and irritable, but bickering amongst ourselves is not going to help.
Do we have anything to drink in here? I'm bloody parched.
I think there might be enough whiskey to go round.
If you think we are drinking any of that whiskey, Reverend, you have got another thing coming. You hear that? He's trying to get us to drinking poison whiskey. Trying to wipe us all out at once, eh, boy?
Not this again.
Well, I have to say, old chap, it does look rather suspicious.
Suspicious? What about the old lady murderess you have sitting here? Or the gambler desperate to pay off his debts? Even the housekeeper's son name matches that of Lavinia's lover, and no one thinks that's suspicious?
Of course not. Lavinia wouldn't have an affair with the housekeeper's son, would she?
Or maybe my son wouldn't have had an affair with a married woman. How about that?
No offence, Mrs. Black, no offence meant, but we were just trying to put the pieces together.
That might be so, but my son is a good man, and I have nothing said against him.
Well, that all rather depends on what he does for a living, actually.
Pardon me?
Well, if it's the same fellow that Lavinia was messing around with, well, he'll be the mysterious gardener, won't he?
What my son does for a living is no one's business but his own.
I think Charles has got a fair point. Answer the question, madam, if you would.
Answer the question. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? You rich people are all the same. An expensive veneer hiding the rot underneath. A prostitute, a murderess, a pervert, a gambler, and a homosexual. My God. And now you all want to tear my Christian down just because you're one of your lot look past her own nose long enough to notice him. She liked his work, she said. That's all. No one trimmed her bush like him, she said. And I believed her. Little did I know, she was corrupting him, putting her adulterous hand on my innocent boy.
Yes, well, that must have been very shocking for you to find out. I'm sure we'd all...
Don't condescend to me. None of you knew. None of you. He's my son. That's why I had to kill her. Don't you see? She was no good for him. She didn't know. She didn't know.
I can't believe that you killed poor Teddy and Lavinia.
Shut up, you slut. You don't get to talk here. You want to know who took the key to the gun cupboard? Well, maybe this will give you a clue.
Oh my goodness.
Violence is not the answer here. Whatever has happened, if you just give me the gun, then whatever your sins, God will forgive you.
I don't need your God's forgiveness. I've committed no sin. All I've done has been in the service of my child. Not that some of you will ever know what that feels like. Will they, Miss Ruby?
That was uncalled for. At least you would have made a good mother. You don't deserve a child.
I didn't deserve what happened to me all those years ago either. But sometimes we don't get to choose now, do we? I got Christian out of it though. So who came out the winner? My boy. My precious boy. He deserved a better start in life than what his father gave him. But now he won't want for anything. I've provided for him, as I always have.
So you killed Lavinia because your son was in love with her? But why kill Teddy too? What did he ever do to you apart from be a damn fine employer?
Huh. He pulled the wool over your eyes too, then I see. He was nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing, even his trampled wife.
Mother, it's Kristen. You in there? Mother, you in there?
Not
It's
a
Christian.
word. Not a word, do you hear me? Not a word out of any of you, or someone will get a bullet in the head. Christian, is that you?
Mother, you okay? Let me in.
Remember, not a word. Christian, thank God you found us. There's been a tragedy.
Don't try and pretend, Mother. I know what you've done. Give it here.
Give what?
The gun. I know you have one. I saw you through the window.
I don't have a gun. I don't know what you're talking about.
She does. She killed them. She told us. She killed Teddy and Lavinia.
I said shut up, you little tramp.
Oh,
Mother!
Not so brave with a gun pointed at you, are you now?
Mother, what are you doing? Give me the gun.
No, don't you see? It was all for you. It's all only ever been for you. So you can have a future.
Future? What future will I have with a murderer for a mother? You need to stop all this before you get yourself in deeper trouble. Why are you doing this? I don't understand.
So it would all be yours. So you'll never want for anything ever again. This all belongs to you now.
My God! You're Teddy's son!
Whose son? I don't understand.
Yes, the Colonel has guessed it. You're the Earl's son. Not that he ever wanted anything to do with you. He told me he loved me, you know. That I was the prettiest girl he'd ever seen. Until I got pregnant, of course. Then he sent me away. But I blackmailed him into giving me my job back, or I'd tell his precious wife. But it's all yours now, darling. I've provided for you, as I always have.
But you said that he was old and passed away before I was even born. Why would you lie to me all these years? And why would you kill Lavinia? She never hurt a fly.
That tramp. She wasn't good enough for you. She wasn't even good enough for him.
But I loved her. And she loved me.
She was nothing but an adulterous whore. When I saw you two kissing in the garden, I knew. I knew I had to kill her. It was easy. I just smashed the hot plates down over both their stupid heads while they were arguing in the kitchen. I never even knew what hit them. And now she's gone, it can be like it used to be. Just you and me.
No, Mother. It can never be like it used to be. Ever again after what you've done. Now give me the gun.
No.
Give me the gun.
We can get rid of them together. Now I need to know.
Give me the gun.
No. What are you doing? Let go.
Give it to me. Got it.
After all I've done for you, how could you turn on me like this?
Mother, you've tried to control me my entire life. Now it's my turn. Sit down and be quiet. I'm turning you over to the coppers.
I should have known. You're just like him. Just like your father.
My father? Like so, let me see.
Bravo, young man. Bravo.
Yes, goodness me, well done, old chap. I thought we were all goners there for a moment. Sorry your mother turned out to be such a wretched criminal. Your father, though, well, he was the best of men.
That he was. How can we ever thank you?
Thank him? I want to hug him. Oh, my nerves are shot to bits. Oh, how are you, Mrs. Parrott?
I'm starving. When are we having supper? No, this place has gone to pot. Not at all like it was in its heyday.
Heyday. Yeah, we know, Mrs. Parrott.
Yes, it was in my heyday that I let Thomas Letterman see me in my swimming costume once. It cost...
Quite sir. Yes, we know, Mrs. Parrott. We know.
And a jolly good show too, then. And there we have the final outcome, ladies and gentlemen. It was the housekeeper after all. And I'm delighted to announce that we have a winner. Our detectives on the night is none other than Sue, Robin and Helen, who got 3 out of the 4 clues correct. So, well, that's big welcome to Sue, Robin and Helen. And if you'd like to come to the studio at your earliest convenience to come and collect your prize, that would be wonderful. And that concludes our drama evening here this evening. But once again, can we just have a wonderful round of applause for the beautiful, delectable, fun girls, the Bluebird Bells. And so from myself and all at Henley Radio, good night and keep listening.